He told me he hates me. Let's welcome in Ryan Wilson here. So we got a lot of potential backups, but good quarterbacks in this draft. You get teams that are maybe looking for the backup. And yes, this past season, especially the season before, I mean, there were times it felt like there were more backups starting than the starters were. So let's start with the Giants here. It's kind of a crowded quarterback room already, though. Ryan, the Giants, should they draft a quarterback, and if so, who?
Yeah, so you talk about Mike Renner's mock draft, and it certainly makes sense at 3 to consider a quarterback, and certainly Shedeur Sanders would be a very good option for the Giants. But if they wanted to take someone else, maybe a Travis Hunter, and then circle back in rounds 3 or 4, because this feels about the range where this young man might go, Kyle McCord could be an option. And Kyle McCord transferred from Ohio State to Syracuse, where he absolutely balled out in 2024, set the ACC passing record all time with his performance. And he got so much better that he went from guy who was likely not going to get drafted to probably an early day 3 pick. I like him in round 2. This is his pro day. I was there on the left. You can see me over there with the big Kyle McCord little doll that I had because I was so happy for the way he played here. So I think he's an option to go to a team like the Giants, where he doesn't have to start right away, because it could be Russ for 1 year, maybe Jameis for this year, and then maybe in 2026, should everyone keep their jobs because the Giants are winning, Kyle McCord could be an option down the road.
Okay, let's go to the Steelers here, because this is a team where we are starting to see those pieces fall into place for these other teams, whether the Giants have a solution or not. Steelers, big old question marks. We don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. If you're looking to the draft for a quarterback, are you looking for a potential starter, or are you looking for a backup? And if so, what is that name?
Yeah, that's the, I don't know, $80 million question. So Aaron Rodgers is, we're all waiting to see what Aaron Rodgers decides to do. They have Mason Rudolph back in the fold. I don't know if that excites Steelers fans, but he started the last month of the season 2 seasons ago and actually did pretty well. And look, at 21, there's not going to be a quarterback there. You'll probably have to trade up if you want to get to Shedeur if he slips to maybe 8 or 9 or 10. I don't know if the Steelers want to do that because they do not have a second-round pick as a result of that DK Metcalf trade. They took Will Howard out, the Ohio State quarterback, the night before his pro day. They're apparently going to have a 30 visit, according to reports with Jackson Dart. But I would consider Will Howard very seriously. Arthur Smith, Mike Tomlin, Omar Khan were all at the Ohio State pro day because they're going to have 50 guys get drafted, but also because they were looking very closely at Will Howard, who is 6'4", about 240, has a big arm, is a really good athlete, and played great down the stretch, Amanda. And he's a guy that's probably you're going to have to take in the 3rd round. And like I mentioned, they don't have that second-round pick the Steelers do, but they do have pick number 83, and that feels about the spot where Will Howard could be available to them as a developmental guy, where you roll with Mason or Aaron Rodgers or whomever in 2025, and then give the keys to the car to Will Howard in 2026. A
team with the top pick in this quarterback is a top pick in this draft is the Browns. And look, we've talked about just how much the Browns have dug themselves in a hole with the whole Deshaun Watson situation. One of my friends sent me a text saying that they were potentially looking at making a trade for Dak. Don't know anything about that. However, if the Browns are looking at the draft, whether it's at the top of the draft or maybe even a little bit further down, what would be some good value for them at that quarterback position to try and just bolster that room even a little bit?
Right. We know Cam Ward's probably going 1 to the Titans, and then do the Browns take Shedeur at 2? Does Shedeur want to go to Cleveland? That's a whole other conversation. Kenny Pickett, we saw in the graphic, they traded for a few weeks ago, so he's penciled in as the possible starter while Deshaun Watson recovers from his latest injury. If the Browns want to take someone like Abdul Carter, the edge rusher out of Penn State at number 2, they could circle back probably in round 2 because Tyler Shuck out of Louisville would be an option there. He's a big, strong kid with a big arm. He'll be 26 during his rookie season. He has played a ton of ball. He was at Oregon, he was at Texas Tech, and then most recently in Louisville, where he had his best season. The issue with Tyler has been injuries, but he's by all accounts a good kid, and teams like Tyler a little better than I do as a quarterback long term, but I'm just one man's opinion. But I think he gives the Browns an option should they not be in on Shedeur at number 2 and want to get an edge rusher opposite Myles Garrett like an Abdul Carter, and then Tyler Shuck can come in and play in year 2 perhaps if Kenny Pickett has to have the reins next season for Cleveland.
I've liked all of those. I like these next 2 very much, though. You said the Jets should actually look at Jalen Miller. Of course, they have Justin Fields there. And the Saints should draft Quinn Ewers. The Saints still have yet to find that long-term answer at quarterback. It feels like they've been looking forever. Love Derek Carr, but I love the idea of potentially Quinn Ewers there. So why Milroe for the Jets and Ewers for the Saints?
So 2-year deal for Justin Fields, and if you're going to go down that road with athletic quarterback, let's make the quarterback room look like what Justin Fields brings to the field, and that would obviously be just Jalen Milroe busted out the 4.37 at his pro day, so that he'd have 2 quarterbacks who are running sub 4.4 when they're on the field. And a lot like Justin Fields, Jalen is insanely athletic. The question becomes, can he improve as a passer? And if you can find ways to get the most out of both these young players, then you have an offense you can build around. We've sort of seen the Ravens do that, trying to get athletic quarterbacks behind Lamar Jackson. Now, Lamar Jackson's a pocket passer, but he also can win with his legs, and we've seen that. In terms of Quinn Ewers, he's a really good player when he's healthy, and he feels like a guy that could excel in Kellen Moore's offense. Derek Carr restructured his deal to save them a little money, and we'll see how Kellen Moore feels long-term about Derek Carr, who's now into his 30s. And like I said, Quinn plays on time. He has a big arm. He can make every throw. It's just been the health concerns, and if you can build an offensive line to protect him, he's a guy that can come in and probably play sooner than later, even with my guy Spencer Rattler currently on the roster as well.
Just totally off topic, you told us you're playing pickleball. I would like to let you know that people are getting a lot of broken bones and torn ACLs from pickleball, so you should probably stay away from it, and you'll look a little cooler, Ryan Wilson.
Oh my goodness!
What? He knows. It's all love for Ryan. Maybe they'll talk about it on the podcast. With the first pick, getting you ready for the NFL draft, which we told you earlier in the show is 27 days away.